Hey guys, for those who are anti-feminist or at least peripherally interested in the MRM, you'll be aware that we often talk about feminism's promotion of the professional victim mentality, lack of personal accountability, and hatred of men. I was alerted to an article at the infamous Jezebel.com by Chapin's Inferno. I'll leave links in the description. It's an article by a feminist who claims to be overweight. Apparently, while trying to determine the underlying cause of her obesity, she has a light bulb moment. She's fat because men made her fat. This was such an outrageous claim that I had to go over to the article and read it myself. This woman claims that as a child, men in her neighborhood would fantasize about her when she grew tits and an ass. She doesn't explain how she knew about these men's fantasies, so we'll have to chalk it up to one of those women's ways of knowing. She inferred it with her vagina. Anyway, she now realizes that subconsciously she started eating so that she wouldn't have to suffer the insufferable male gaze. This wasn't a conscious decision at the time, of course, but now, sitting on her ass at home writing blog articles all day, wondering how she got so fat, she realizes she isn't to blame. Men are. Namely, the men in her childhood neighborhood, and by extension, all men. If men didn't look at her, she wouldn't have to be fat. Now, we all know that if this guy turned into this guy, she's not going to be so upset about that creepy male gaze. She goes on to mention that when she started looking for men to date, she had a hard time because she was fat. Oh, the irony. Feminists like this should have a big meeting and agree to wear a big sign on their foreheads that reads, "I'm looking to date," so men know whether or not they're allowed to look at them without destroying them emotionally and making them eat themselves to death. Imagine this from a male perspective. Imagine an alcoholic man who lives at home with his parents, who lost his successful career due to a gambling and alcohol problem. Imagine this man writing an article about how women in his neighborhood were always after his money, so he started drinking and gambling to make himself less desirable to women. He doesn't really have a problem with alcohol or a problem with gambling. Women have a problem with gold digging. As with most articles of this type, the comments are going to be the real gold mine. I found this gem.
This woman's perspective is valuable and needs to be heard. However, I worry when things like this are presented without a broader context. For most fat people, fatness has nothing to do with behavior. There is no correlation on average between eating habits and body weight, even if for a small minority of people this is the case. While the woman in question may be able to lose some weight because she was maintaining her higher weight with a much, much higher level of food intake than is typical, this is not representative of most fat people, and it would be helpful if she acknowledged this in her account. Her experience is her experience, but it's important to be aware of how others may interpret our accounts of our own experiences.
This is the type of behavior feminism advocates. If you're a woman, nothing is your fault. Nothing is your responsibility. You have no accountability. You have no agency. You are an object being acted upon by the patriarchy. If you are successful, it's because you're several orders of magnitude better than your male peers. If you fail, well, you haven't really failed at all. You have no control over your own existence. You are nothing but a puppet. Feminism is projecting. It advocates the very things it purports to fight. It's like religion in more than one sense, but specifically in this case, it's like religion because it absolves you of personal responsibility. The patriarchy works in mysterious ways. It's horse shit. Not only do I think feminism convinces women that they have no agency, no control over their own lives, I also think it convinces those who are emotionally unstable not to get help. Thanks for watching.